all wrong. That in fact grace is the alone motive for our salvation. That God is gracious, and by that we mean He has favor towards us. And I like to say that He loved us because He loved us and for no other reason. Not for anything in you, not for anything He saw that you would do, not for anything that He thought you might do, not for anything that you have done. But He loved you from all eternity simply because He did. He did it freely. And so that's what we mean when we say grace alone.
Israel. And this is going to be from Mark's Gospel, chapter 15, as at the beginning of Friday, the very first Good Friday. Very early in the morning, the chief priests with the elders, teachers of the law, and the whole Sanhedrin reached a decision. They bound Jesus, led Him away, and handed Him over to Pilate. "Are you the king of the Jews?" Pilate asked him. "Yes, it is as you say," Jesus replied. The chief priest accused Him of many things, so again Pilate asked Him, "Are you not going to answer? What is this testimony these men are bringing against you?" Jesus still made no reply, and Pilate was amazed. Now it was the custom at the feast to release a prisoner whom the people requested. A man named Barabbas was in prison with the insurrectionists who had committed murder in the uprising, so the people came and asked Pilate to do for them what he usually did. "Do you want me to release to you the king of the Jews?" Pilate asked them, knowing it was out of envy that the chief priests had handed Jesus over to him. But the chief priests had stirred up the crowd to ask Pilate to release Barabbas instead. "What do you want me to do with the one you call the king of the Jews?" Pilate asked them. "Crucify him," they shouted. "Why? What crime has he committed?" asked Pilate. But they shouted all the louder, "Crucify him!" Wanting to satisfy the crowd, Pilate released Barabbas to them. He had Jesus flogged and handed Him over to be crucified. The soldiers led Jesus away into the palace, that is the praetorium. They called together the whole company of soldiers. They put a purple robe around Him, wove a crown of thorns and set it on Him. They began to call out to Him, "Hail, King of the Jews!" Again and again they struck Him on the head with a staff and spit on Him. Falling on their knees, they worshipped Him. And when they had mocked Him, they took off the purple robe, put His own clothes on Him, and led Him out to crucify Him. A certain man from Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus, was passing by on his way in from the cross, and they forced Him to carry the cross. They brought Jesus to a place called Golgotha, which means the place of the skull. Then they offered Him wine mixed with myrrh, but He did not take it. And they crucified Him. Dividing up His clothes, they cast lots to see what each would get. It was the third hour when they crucified Him. The written notice of the charge against Him read, "The King of the Jews." They crucified two robbers with Him, one on His right and one on His left, and those who passed by hurled insults at Him, shaking their heads, saying, "So you, who are going to destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, come down from the cross and save yourself." In the same way, those crucified with Him also heaped insults on Him. At the 6th hour, darkness came over the whole land until the 9th hour. At the 9th hour, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" When some of those standing near heard this, they said, "Listen, he's calling Elijah." One man ran, filled a sponge with wine vinegar, put it on a stick and offered it to Jesus to drink. "Leave him alone. Let's see if Elijah comes to take him down," he said. And with a loud cry, Jesus breathed his last. The curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom, And when the centurion who stood there heard his cry and saw how he died, he said, surely this man was the Son of God.